3rd of July, Monday, 23 past 4 p.m. in the afternoon in Australia. Here's my latest video blog. Yesterday I was covering a little bit of, I suppose, perspective on what happened in 2013, 2017 and what to expect over the next couple of months. And I also covered a little bit on EOS. Now, as soon as I did that blog yesterday on Sunday, we saw a little bit of a recovery today, but when I say recovery, just because prices go up doesn't necessarily mean it's a recovery. It just means that there's a little bit of new energy. And we did see this morning the prices bounced back and then the prices dropped off again as traders take that small little gain that was earned this morning when it decided to reverse and start climbing the ladder again. So I think that's going to be probably the norm for a little bit of a certain period of time, as the professional traders especially will know that there's going to be an influx of new energy, and they'll just keep chipping away, doing a little bit of cross trading and improving their position. So at the end of the day, you know, we're at the bottom of, well, I think we're at a pretty reasonable bottom, but I think it might hover here for a little while because there's a lot of uncertainty about Bitcoin and what they're going to be doing on the 1st of August. We've got a lot of ICOs running at the moment, things like EOS and things like that. So some of the money, some of the focus, some of the attention is outside of the market, and it has gone a little bit quiet, and you can sort of see that on the volume when you go and look at Bitshares, and I understand different exchanges have different volume and things like that, but you can sort of paint a picture on the energy that's flowing through the market on any one particular day by looking at the volume. So yeah, so just keep your hat on. I think there's going to be a little bit of a recovery, like I said, a little bit of up and down over the next week or so. I'm just going to be buying on the dips and probably just sitting back now. I feel like I've done enough trading and buying for a while. I might just sit back and enjoy it. It's been a very emotional ride for the last 3 months. Now, getting on to EOS. Now, if you were in on EOS, I got into period 0, which was the first 5-day window, and it's actually an incredible event what's happening here. We're into period 2, which is technically the second 23-hour window, and the current price of EOS is at $3.16. So the way that's worked is 2 million EOS tokens divided by the total contribution, and that's how you are derived by that particular figure. So it's going to cost anyone that's contributed into this period to $3.16 US at the current time, and there's 4 hours to go. Yesterday was $1.71, and this sort of fluctuates a little bit based on the USD current market rate. And on the first day, or the first 5 days, it went for 89. Now, the amazing thing about this is there's no doubt there's a bit of demand for EOS, and some people may say, oh, what's all the fuss about? I mean, anyone that's done any research into what EOS actually represents, and when you compare it to what Ethereum is, it's going to pretty much outrun Ethereum from day one. It's 12 months away, and you've got I think it's 38 days or 39 more windows to be able to get in on this. But what I can see happening is that every day so far, and this may be just a little bit of a short-term trend, as demand and attention grows towards EOS, the price keeps increasing. So, and the other thing is there's a little bit of arbitrage going on, because on the Kraken and I think it's Bitfinex exchanges, the price is currently, let me just open that up, bear with me. Oh, yes, currently is work out the whole process, or it was a little bit complicated, or they just like the convenience or the demand, or they just saw it on the exchange and thought that they'd get involved after researching it, and they've gone and bought it at a higher price. What's happening is there's people who are selling it on the exchange for, you know, 20-30%, a little bit higher than the actual current price, then obviously using that money to throw into the next window. And what's going to happen is every single day we're going to see this arbitrage amount or difference between the current price of EOS and the market price of EOS. How long will that be sustained for? I'm not sure, but could we see EOS go to $50? You know, it could be it could be an amazing little experiment here. I mean, especially if some of the whales who are buying into this arbitrage, and if they're making enough money, they'll keep boosting the next day's window. And you might find that the emotional energy may just drop off one day. You know, one of these big players decides that's enough, or gets sick, or goes on holiday, or something like that, and the energy starts to drop off. And it could be 100 days, could be 150 days. Like I said, you've got 340 days to get in this, and you can see down here there's already major contributions. So day 34, you've got 12,000, and then 900, and you go down a little bit further. Go a little bit into the 100, so 100 days away, it starts dropping down into less than 100 US. A little bit further, 129 days, it's about 60, 57, 65. Someone's got a very similar figure here along all the way, 57, 65, 57, 65. So what they've done, they've put 0.21 of an Ether in each window, and they're just looking at improving their position. Another person's put 304.71, 304.71. So it's obviously a common trend, 85.10, 85.10. So they're looking for that magic day where they maximise their Ether return just based on the average price for those 2 million shares that were up for grabs for that day. Not a bad tactic, but this has never been done before. What's the price going to be when it hits day 350? It's going to be an amazing sort of journey, and but I'll be very interested to see how much energy and how much cash flow could actually move into this EOS space. I mean, they've got 100 billion tokens up for grabs. I think that's 100 billion overall, or something like that. I may have got that figure wrong, but at the end of the day, there's quite a lot of tokens. We're going to see just an amazing ride. And if you're thinking about getting involved, it's one of those emotional decisions now. $3.16 is very expensive. Do you get involved, or do you wait? I'm even thinking about, do I want to get a little bit more? I'm not sure. I'm actually going to sit this out. I sort of originally had the plan of sitting out for 100 days and just seeing what happens after 100 days. And you probably get a good feel for it. I think the first 2 weeks might be insane, but it might get propped up, like I said, by some major investors who are benefiting from the difference between the market price on the exchange and what's being sold through the actual token distribution. So yeah, EOS, very interesting. You can look at the daily price at EOS Scan, and that's double S, EOSScan.io, and you can get a quick glimpse of what the price is for that day and how many minutes are left. The next thing I wanted to share with you is, now I'm not going to read this whole article, but it was on CoinDesk. It was about ICOs, dumb money, and Ethereum's ethical dilemma. Now there were some pretty cool little points in here, and I'm just going to read out just some little aspects to it so you get a bit of a grasp. Now, is the bubble about to pop? The popularity of trading cryptocurrencies, especially Ethereum's ETHERCOIN, has spread like wildfire in the past few months. With Ether returning roughly 3,000% since January, it comes as little surprise many are interested in cashing in on the next Bitcoin. However, market prices are looking increasingly worrisome for several reasons, ranging from the influx of naive investors, and there's plenty of those, to the onslaught of initial coin offerings, ICOs. As such, now may be a good time to consider taking profits off the table and waiting for a correction before entering. Blockchain and Ethereum have great long-term potential but face short-term hurdles. Why wait and try to time the dips when you can sell now and buy the crash? Now we've seen lots of corrections. What I have noticed, the last correction was about 20 days. We could say about 20 days. You could probably say it was quite aggressive over 10 days, but then it bounces back pretty quickly. Whether or not you want to go and cash your money in and out, I mean, that can be quite a tiresome process. At the end of the, I think the real process could be, stacking and just buying on the dips is probably the easiest, less stressful way. But is there going to be a crash? That's the thing. Are these ICOs taking a lot of attention away from these other coins? I think that is happening. We've seen the market cap definitely depreciate on certain cryptocurrencies. And even when you look at Bittrex and the trading, there were certain coins a month ago that just had lots of volume, and they just seemed to be the ones that were in, and all of a sudden they've dropped away and they've lost, 40 to 50% volume on the markets. So people have moved to other interests, and that's going to happen because there's going to be the in trend, the new coin that comes onto the market, like EOS at the moment. EOS is running hot on Bitfinex and these other exchanges, and even people are just either buying Ethereum and putting it into EOS, and that's what's happening. I mean, we've seen Ethereum recover and it's still going up a little bit. Doesn't truly reflect the amount of tokens required for EOS, but I mean there'll be a lot of people who already own Ethereum and they're using their stake to reinvest into the next Ethereum. So moving on, there was just a talk about the streams and how the money's coming into the market and where they used to go. They used to go into certain coins and then they reach a certain threshold, and that attention then moves into another one. And what's happened is these ICOs have come in and taken a lot of the attention. I'm just going to read this little section here. Enter the ICOs. These ICOs provided a raft of new investment opportunities for Ether holders to take advantage of. Similar to the IPOs in the dot-com boom, Ethereum investors were eager to funnel Ether into the ICOs of startups building companies on top of Ethereum. In exchange for their Ether, investors received tradable tokens. Once the tokens hit the exchanges for open trading, early investors could either cash in on the expected trading pop or continue to speculate on the future rise of these tokens as the companies develop. These altcoins are streams where all the pent-up capital held in Ether will flow into. While Ether itself is the base, capital is now being increasingly siphoned off into these coins without a continuous large influx of capital from fiat investors into the Ethereum ecosystem. The value of Ether will stabilize or fail or fall. That's probably a reasonable expectation. Now, the EOS boys, they're taking a whole heap of EOS, and they're going to be collecting and pooling EOS for a whole 12-month period. And so far, how many EOS have they collected? 651, 50, about 700,000 F just sitting in their wallet right now, waiting for whatever they're going to do. What are they going to do with it? That's the big question. They're going to have to cash it in at some stage. They're going to have to cash in certain amounts to do what they need to do for their EOS. Now, what happens? Are they going to dump it all at once? Are they going to dump it off in stages? Do they have an agreement with the Ethereum boys? I'm not sure. It'll be very interesting to see what happens at the end of the year when they've got, what could be, if they've got 700,000 ETH now after day 3, what could they have? Millions. They'll have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 million. Who knows? I suppose in the big scheme of things, that's not a lot of tokens, but maybe they'll get 1 billion. And yeah, what will happen then? So, dumb money follows smart money. The rise in Ether prices in the last few months has unsurprisingly resulted in an enormous amount of press on the future of this technology. This has invited speculation from investors who are fairly ill-informed on the space and intend not to miss out on the next Bitcoin. A lot of FOMO, fear of missing out. Enormous investor pile-on has driven the price sky high, with capital coming from psychologically fragile speculators who are not particularly versed in the technology. That is very, very apparent. I think there's a lot of young crypto speculators in the market at the moment. You can sort of see that in the Telegram groups as a mix of maturity, and I think the mature heads don't necessarily get in there bombing it with gifts and things. We tend to read it and just get their little gold nuggets. But you can see there's quite a diverse range of intellect and we'll call it wisdom. Now, this carries on and talks a little bit about Ethereum Classic having no base and trying to work out why its price has got to where it is. There doesn't seem to be a lot holding it together, and there's no real connection between Ethereum Classic and Ethereum in regards to what they do, like smart contracts and things like that. So that's one to watch. I'm actually invested in it, and after this, I've sort of got me thinking a little bit. I will go and have a little look at what they're doing, just to make sure that I'm up to speed what the development team has got planned. Now, when it goes down, there's a little bit down here what I wanted to talk about. ICOs equals idiots constantly overbuying. ICO valuations are insane. Ethereum has basically just become an ICO machine. These are companies getting Series C level funding for seed level products. We're talking tens of millions in valuations for white papers and teams with no track record. Many of these will fail. Ethereum itself only raised $18 million during its crowd sale. Last year, a company that ICO'd took the investors' money and went on a vacation in Spain. Now, I'm not sure which ICO that was. I mean, if someone knows what that is, can you put it in the video comments below? That would be appreciated. At this time, the SEC wouldn't care even if they just burned it in front of your eyes. This is the wild west of capitalism. They're talking about Bancor, raised $153 million in roughly 3 hours. There was a whole heap of issues with the token distribution with regards to how Ethereum was actually was congested. Really didn't handle that whole ICO process, and then there's a lot of speculation about Bancor and whether or not it's actually got the goods to deliver its investors. So yeah, that'd be one to, you need to go and do a little bit more research. I'm not in Bancor, but I'm not here to give any advice on that. I'm just sharing with you some stuff that I've looked into. There are some parts of the code that I'm not comfortable with, and some other people have said to stay away from it. So I've sort of decided just to watch and maybe just do a little bit more research. Patientry, a healthcare record startup, earned $7.2 million. Now, this article goes out to highlight that the CEO of this particular ICO, or so what would you call it, blockchain or token, doesn't have any real track record in experience, in business experience. Is that the one I think? Yes. Yes, so sorry, the CEO has less than 4 years of professional work experience and a non-technical background. She has an MA in business management and a dual BAs in Africana studies, and is running a company whose market cap went from 7.2 million to 60 million in a single month, despite not having a finished product or revenue, much less profit. You know, at the end of the day, I don't really respect that paragraph. If they haven't interviewed this person, whether she's male or female, they've used she. I mean, she's got an MA in business management. So what? I mean, she could be very, very qualified. Some of the most qualified people in the world don't necessarily have particular specific management degrees in you know, these niche markets. What they do bring to the table could be you know, great capacity to manage people, or you know, be able to digest ideas and then bring them forward. And you know, at the end of the day, I think that the success of any particular company always comes down to the team that you surround yourself with. So if you've got good energy, you've got good business planning, and you've got your operating procedures in place, and you've got great people around you, and you've got great vision and great passion, quite often you're going to be successful. So at the end of the day, you're going to have a really good product as well. So the bottom line, this is obviously a perspective. I'm bullish on blockchain and very bullish on Ethereum. However, I would not buy in at this price. And I think they're talking about Ethereum, which is standing at 366 Australian. So what's that? Around about 300 US, maybe a little bit less. The smart money got in far beneath the current figure, and potentially may soon be out. If you heard about Ethereum from the New York Times, you're not the smart money. Normally what that means, if you hear it in mainstream, you're already too late. So getting in early is the key to any real major investment, and especially new techs. And that's why I think people are getting in on the ICOs. Anyone with smart money is actually getting into some of these ICOs if they can see that it has got legs for the long term. So to summarise, the price of Ethereum has rocketed upwards in the past few months, indicative of blockchain's potential. Dumb money has now followed the smart money. Ether's price may have levelled off due to ICOs now providing an outlet for capital outflow. Many of these ICOs will fail, punishing the dumb money and inducing a correction. Now, there's no doubt that that's going to happen at some stage. It does take time for these companies to fail as well. I mean, they've got to. It could take years before it comes forward that they haven't been able to execute on their mission. So we have to just keep your eye on these things. Don't just take it for granted that you've invested in an ICO. If you feel that it's not working, or you see something that it's not going to stick, then sometimes the best exit is the fast one, and reinvest your money somewhere else. But again, this takes diligence and research. My prediction is, based on the article, not necessarily mine, my prediction is Ethereum will take a big hit in the next 6 months. Take the easy gains and wait for the correction. That could very much happen. What we may see with Ethereum due to the ICOs is people buy in, so we have a wave, and then people buy out. What we haven't seen, I don't believe, is all of these ICOs that have collected Ethereum, and let's look, just like EOS is, have they necessarily cashed out all of their stakes? Some of them might be holding off. What happens if they do, sell off within 1 month? There may be a major correction in Ethereum, which will create a domino effect, and you might find that it just creates a whole heap of stop losses, and a lot of people just start getting out. And I think if that happens, you may find that will affect other cryptos that are connected to Ethereum, and even the market in general, because that's sort of, Bitcoin had that influence. When Bitcoin does what it needs to do up and down, it definitely affects the altcoins, and we may find the same thing occur with Ethereum and its own ecosystem. So keep your eye on that. Would I suggest investing in Ethereum? I haven't, and I wouldn't. It's too far gone for me. I've got a little stake of it, and it's not something I'm stacking. If anything, I'll wait for another major correction. And even then, my attention is on other things. There's so many other great technologies. I mean, look at EOS. EOS is $3. I truly do believe, and I'm going to say this, I do truly believe that Dan Merriman and Block 1 boys can pull this off, boys and girls, can pull this off in 2018, 2019, with any information that they bring forward with the advancement of this tech. There is absolutely no doubt that EOS is a multiple hundred to it could be $1,000 crypto. But let's look at the hundreds. So it's going to get to $50. It's going to get to $100. It will no doubt get to $300, just like Dash and Zcash and all of these. If that's the benchmark, if $300 is a benchmark, there is no doubt in my mind EOS is going to be there as well. So some people might be looking at $3 as being very expensive. In the big scheme of things, probably not when you look at the big picture in 2 years' time, when all of these amazing new dApps are starting to connect off this amazingly quick and fast EOS blockchain, which is going to be the internet number 3. It's going to dominate in regards to just the technology. So I'd actually say you're crazy not to get involved with EOS. Would you buy it tomorrow at $3? You might go, oh, what I would probably do, and this is not a dumb tactic, is I would definitely get in at some stage, and you've just got to, you don't know what's going to happen, so it's speculation. Buy some. Then what you may do is spread. You've got 340 days, so my inclination, and I got in on the first day, I bought. And then if I do see a day where the average comes down, and it could happen in 2 weeks' time, you might find that you'll be able to improve your position. If you've got a long-term vision, $300 for your $3, I think that's quite a reasonable return. If that's speculation. It's not investment advice, but when you go and understand what EOS is, I don't want to use the word inevitable, but I could possibly say that it looks that way. So that's all I wanted to share with you. A lot of dumb money floating around. I think there's a lot of, like the Webbot report, a lot of sloshing. You're going to see money going in and out and where the attention goes. New ICOs. Some of these are going to fail. Don't just invest in an ICO. Look at what the tech is. I've only invested in peer plays because it's graphene and it connects to EOS and is part of the graphene technology. They're the only two ICOs that I've gone into. All the rest I've just gone, nah, didn't feel it. I didn't believe in the technology. I like the foundation stuff like EOS. I like the speed and seamlessness of the graphene. So that's my direction. I'm also looking at some unique coins and things like that just to have that diversification across my portfolio, because At the end of the day, I keep saying that. The last two videos, I keep saying end of the day. It's annoying me. I'm trying not to, so pull me up on it if I keep doing it. But yeah, what we need to do is spread out that attention or your portfolio. So in a couple of years' time, you benefit from these coins that do very well, and I think you'll find that your portfolio won't be as susceptible to volatility. If you've got all your eggs in one basket, you know, you're really taking on a risk. So thanks for listening, guys. That's all I wanted to share. I'll keep spitting out these little videos. Thanks for watching. Check out the links and things in the videos below. I've got a whole heap of information there. You can check out my link on steemit.com. And there's also a new thing with REDDCOIN coming out soon. So I'm going to give it a bit of a plug. It's a complete speculator. A lot of people have written it off, but they've got this little bit of software called REDDID. And what it's going to do, and they're going to be targeting YouTube in the next couple of months. That's from what I heard on the grapevine. You'll have a browser, you'll set up your details within this REDDID, a little bit of integrated software, and I'll be able to tip any YouTube, you know, what would you call it, subscriber, and vice versa, and we can actually exchange funds just with a click of a button. So that's going to be really, really interesting. I am invested in REDDCOIN, not a lot. I've got, just because it's very cheap, it's 0.002 of Australian cent. So I've got a little bit. You never know if they can pull it off. It could be one to watch. So, but it may fail as well. But you know, go and do your research on that. It's like I said, it's a niche market, and they are targeting YouTube at this. I think it's Q4 of 2017. So that's all I got. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, guys.